You know, there was a time when I looked like this. I had gained 13 kgs and tried too many different things to lose weight, but it just felt like the fat, especially under my underarms and waist and hips and thighs, was just so stubborn and was the toughest areas to lose. Until I began to learn about my body and foods in depth. And in 4 months, I not only lost the excess weight, but my bloating had vanished, my digestion had improved, and all that congestion and fatigue, lazy, low mood feeling, and that brain fog was all gone. And in this video, I'm going to share everything I've learned and followed since then and the science behind why it worked. And if you think I'm going to suggest tasteless diet food, then absolutely not, because I'm a super foodie myself and I love eating. So I tailor-made my meals for myself to be yummy and filling and perfect for weight loss, and also simple to make because I had to face the fact that I didn't have too much time to spend in the kitchen. When I set out to understand my body, I realized that the Western understanding of weight gain refers to just the physical body. But the Ayurvedic perspective of weight gain is when heaviness increases not only in our physical bodies but also our minds, habits and behavioral patterns also carry that same heaviness and that sluggishness. This made absolute sense why I was feeling low and lazy, lack of interest in most things in life at that point of time. Since Ayurveda is not a one-size-fits-all science, it has categorized people into 3 body types. The Vata body type, which is a lean, light body and mind. The Pitta body type, which is the medium, athletic, heaty body and mind, and the Kapha body type, which is the heavy and slow body and mind. There is another video of mine that explains these in great detail. Now, Kapha body type is generally this large, big-boned men, curvy, voluptuous women who have excess heaviness, slowness, coldness and oiliness in them. Look at the Khapha people like this. They are the retainers. They retain food, which makes them gain weight. They retain water, so they're prone to water retention. They retain emotions, so they're prone to emotional heaviness or depression. They retain fluids, so they are prone to congestion. They have great mental retention, so they have great long-term memory. And all this retention in the physical and the mental body makes them heavy. This heaviness is also related to their slowness. They are slow in movements, slow in bowel movements, slow in digestion, metabolism, slow in making decisions, slow to adapt to change, slow to learn. But how does Ayurveda deal with this heaviness? Ayurveda uses the principle of opposites to bring balance. So heavy, slow, cool and oily is balanced with light, stimulating, warm and dry foods and lifestyle. When heaviness increases in the body, the digestive fire becomes weak and in turn again adds to the heaviness. So it's like the self-feeding cycle. So igniting the digestion of heavy Kapha people has the most powerful impact on their weight loss. And this is something I so powerfully realized in my own weight loss journey. Have you ever seen a wild forest fire spread and burn down the entire forest? This usually happens in forests that lack moisture and are dry and hay-like. So dry and light things kindle fire. Similarly, dry and light foods kindle Kapha's digestive fire as well. Have you also observed that when you eat pungent, heaty foods, your nose and eyes leak, you sweat, and you feel warm in the belly? Because these foods create heat and stimulate the body, which is exactly what the slow and cold Kapha needs. Ayurveda specifies that heavy people should favor pungent, bitter and astringent tastes because they decrease the heaviness, and they should avoid salty, sour and sweet tastes because these tastes will add to their heaviness. Okay, now I'll show you how I ate during this period, and I suggest you sit with your phone or you just take pictures of the screen as there's a lot of information as we move ahead. Okay, on an empty stomach, as soon as we wake up, first thing in the morning, we go to our kitchen and light up the stove to cook our meals for the day, right? Similarly, the first thing a Kapha body type should do when they wake up is to ignite their digestive fire to cook and digest all the meals of the day ahead. Amla juice is excellent for the Kapha body on an empty stomach, and you can also add some fresh ginger, black salt and jeera powder, and it becomes like double effective for weight loss for Kaphas. I personally used to have trikatu, and that's like black pepper, long pepper, dry ginger in warm water. You get this trikatu churna also, which you can just add about half a teaspoon of it in warm water. Ideally no sweeteners, but if you must, you can just add some monk fruit or stevia sweetener, which is like 0 calorie and healthy as well. Spices are the most important component of Khapha's foods. You should just stack all the spices because most of them suit the Khapha body type, and it's what you're going to repeatedly use in literally everything you eat and cook. So you can take these spices and make your own herbal teas as per your own taste. And if you're like the fresh juice kind of a person, then I'm really sorry to break it to you that fresh raw fruit and vegetable juices are absolutely not good for Khapha, as they'll just increase all the qualities that a heavy person already has in excess, and Khapha should absolutely avoid anything like cold and raw, sugary, heavy, like cool drinks and ice creams and iced fridge water, raw salads, all these things. But there is one raw juice that is extremely beneficial to the Khafas, and you won't like this, but this is one ingredient that causes lekhana or scraping of the fat and heaviness from the Khapha body and stimulates the digestive fire. That's Karela juice. But there is a way to have it. I used to freshly extract Karela juice, warm it slightly so it's not room temperature, add fresh ginger, black pepper, turmeric and a pinch of salt, and I used to have only about half a glass of this somewhere between the breakfast and the lunch, not on an empty stomach. Or you can also have Karela tea as well. That's like Karela that is simmered in hot water with all these warming spices, only about 4 times a week. I literally followed this like a religion. If you want a chai wala feeling in the morning, then you can do a dairy-free chai with some ginger, cardamom, cinnamon and lemon at the end. So it's like a lemon tea without the milk. But if you're like a coffee person, then you just can't have coffee on an empty stomach. Not recommended, I think, for any body type. But coffee suits Khapha people, but later during the day. You must be wondering why I'm not using cow's milk, right? Firstly, Ayurveda does not recommend any dairy products like paneer and curds and milk and cheese, etc. for Khafas, because dairy is very heavy, it's cold and it's mucus forming, which can add even more heaviness to an already heavy body. So no. And moreover, the dairy quality today is not what it used to be when Ayurveda recommended it. The scene today is not only cruel and inhumane, but it's also slow poison to our health. RBST and RBGH are synthetic hormones that are injected into cows to increase the milk production, and they end up in the dairy products that we are consuming. Most people, and even those who don't even realize it, are lactose sensitive and suffer from hormonal imbalance, inflammation and digestive issues. Today's dairy products contain A1 casein proteins that just like irritate our digestive systems. And people just end up medicating themselves without even realizing that their issue is because of the dairy products that they're consuming. It's because of these issues we have like this increasing demand and supply of plant milks and products, all easily available. Okay, now I'm going to move on to the breakfast, and really yummy breakfast. Okay, before I move on to the breakfast, there are like a few fundamental rules that a heavy person needs to follow. First one is to eat only when hungry, or eat only when your previous meal is completely digested and you begin to feel hungry again, then only eat. Your body just knows best. Trust it. Snacking in between meals will just suffocate the weak digestive fire of Khafas and will not only add to their heaviness but also cause a lot of illness later. And that's one habit I have permanently given up. And the second general rule, probably the most important one. Both as per Western science and Ayurveda, a heavy body should consume more vegetables and fruits, lesser legumes and pulses, and even lesser grains and the least amount of fats. Have you observed that when you lift 1 kg of vegetables, it feels so light and it consumes so much space? The same amount of grains and legumes consumes lesser space, but it's way heavier and denser. And the same amount of oil is the heaviest of them all, right? So volumetrically, vegetables provide bulk. They make us feel full, satiated, but they don't add heaviness to our body. And they're very easy to digest, which is exactly what is needed to reduce heaviness. Grains, legumes and oil is also very essential, but comparatively in a lower ratio. I follow this meal plan to this day, but the fats I have gradually increased after I lost my excess weight. But I never went hungry during my weight loss phase because I followed this one simple and fundamental rule. Okay, so now let's see what are the breakfast options? Oh yeah, and do have breakfast only, and if and only you're hungry, it's perfectly fine to skip breakfast for a Kapha body type. Okay, so the first one is fruits. Fruits are perfect breakfast option for Kaphas as it's really light. It's actually my personal favorite choice. Most sour fruits like citrus, apples, pomegranates and berries are great. Just avoid the sweet and the dense fruits like mangoes and bananas and avocados and watermelon. And also just make sure you don't eat the fruit like directly from the fridge. Savory breakfasts like upmas and chilas work amazing for Kaphas. Just remember the more vegetable and the less grain rule and prepare accordingly. There is this set of 5 millets that's excellent for Kaphas, and I literally lived on these grains. You can also have like amaranth and barley, buckwheat, corn, rye and quinoa along with those other 5 millets. Just avoid any rice and breads and pasta, maida, wheat completely. But can you add all the vegetables? No. Root vegetables are really dense and they're very starchy if you've observed. So avoid them. Most other vegetables and greens are perfectly fine for Kaphas. Lot of greens in fact. Oils, like the most important part of cooking, right? Sesame oil and specifically mustard oil is known for its lekhana or scraping of the fat and ushna, which is heating properties, which is very important for weight loss and reducing that congestion. You know what? I cook with mustard oil to this day. It's like my best partner in weight loss and maintenance of that weight loss. But that doesn't mean you consume too much of it. Just moderation. 1 or 2, tablespoons per meal is good. Okay. A sauteed sprout salad tastes amazing as a breakfast option. It also adds a lot of protein, and since it's cooked with warming spices and vegetables, it's perfect for Kaphas. You can also add a few seeds and nuts, really very few, occasionally, moderately. And yes, I am from Cork and I love my coffee, and I'm sure most of you love your coffee too. So I always used to sneak in 1 mug of coffee in the mornings, a little later after breakfast. One, black coffee is good because coffee is actually bitter, so it's really helpful for Kaphas, but not more than 1 cup. If you want to have more than 1 cup, then there is this amazing non-caffeinated coffee mix that I have experimented with after a long time, and I came up with this. It has a lot of detoxifying antioxidant ingredients, so it's amazing for health. But also one more thing is you will be really amazed at how much coffee-like it tastes, but without the caffeine. Okay. Lunch. So lunch should be like the Kapha's largest meal because the digestive fire is at its peak along with the sun. A simple dal sabji roti meal or a millet khichdi suits the Kaphas perfectly well. Just remember the same rules of more vegetables than the grains. Also, most dals suit Kaphas as long as they are prepared with a generous warming spices and mustard oil. Remember to avoid the root vegetables for vegetable preparations. Just use more garlics and onions and ginger, spices, less salt in them because again, salt makes us retain water. And I've kind of become used to less salt. So if I have even a little bit more, it's just too much for me to take. Okay, so we Kaphas also have a tendency to feel very sleepy after meals. So the excess vegetable versus grain ratio will make sure you don't feel too heavy after lunch. So you'll be kind of active-ish even after meals. I know Kaphas love sweets, and trust me, I have really struggled with this for a very long time. Well, but I know that sweet taste adds further heaviness to my body, which is why I try as much to avoid them. But now since I am my desired weight, I occasionally have sweets, but in moderation. I have like sweets that contain no dairy, like chikkis or tilka laddu or puran polis or moong dal, paisam, etc. But most times I have bitter chocolate as cacao is actually good for Kaphas, and I really love the taste. And now what I had for my dinner. Kaphas need to have an early dinner and give at least 16 hours gap between the dinner and the next day's breakfast. This itself will help in weight loss and kind of resetting our digestion. Soups and sauteed salads or vegetable stews made with just vegetables, no grains, work amazing for dinners because they're just light and they'll fill you up for the night ahead. You can always add proteins like chickpeas and soya nuggets and tofu and edamame soybeans, etc. for that extra protein. And again, these meals as well need to be spiced really well and cooked in mustard oil. Okay, now since the meals are all sorted, there are just a few things that I did that helped me immensely. Like fresh ginger is amrit for the digestion. So I used to have like ginger water with a little bit of lemon squeezed instead of plain water whenever I was thirsty throughout the day, like for a couple of weeks. And yes, I used to fast as well, at least like for a day in a week, and sometimes I would also do like 1 meal a day fasting. And those were the days that I inherently wouldn't feel that hungry. And now that I am my desired weight, I still fast, but once in like 3 weeks or so. But I always keep a 16-hour gap in between my dinner and the breakfast. Also now, I'm just used to it. I don't feel that hungry in this gap. The body kind of adapts itself really well when something is done consistently. So the last thing I want to say is that even after I shed my weight, I still follow the main framework of this diet and lifestyle. So it's more of like a lifestyle now than just something that I achieved many years ago and I've forgotten. Also, diet is just one part, but there are powerful lifestyle changes that helped my weight loss, and I follow them to this date, which I'll be sharing in a separate video on Kapha lifestyle. They're very doable for like the present day busy working woman. And yeah, I'll also be sharing these recipes soon, so you can keep an eye out for them. I hope this video has benefited you in some way. And yes, please do share your own stories and journey as well, because it could help someone else who's looking out for answers out there. Till the next time, bye.